Let's go ahead and get our reading lesson done today. All right, we're going to read A Tale of Chanticleer. Now, I don't know if you read it already, but I told you in yesterday's lesson that you could go ahead and start reading it now or yesterday so that you could have it done today. But if you didn't, that's okay. So, all right, let's go ahead and begin. We're going to look at some vocabulary words. This one is you. You pronounce it you. It looks like ooh, but it's you. As the farmer sheared the wool off the ewe, she bleated loudly. A ewe is a female sheep. Well, she has got some wool, doesn't she? Malice. Full of malice, the man desired to bring harm to his enemy. That'd be like anger, full of anger. Utter. When Eric won first place, he shouted with utter joy, like just complete. Inspiration. Oh, no, it must be the word frenzy. I don't know why that word's there. I didn't change that word. The swarm of angry bees was in a frenzy. You can forget that word. Frenzy means like, blah, going crazy. There was too many of them. What do you do to pass the time when you travel? Like if you're going a long distance, do you play games? Do you tell stories? Do you listen to music? What do you do? All right, we're going to read a story by Geoffrey Chaucer. He was born in London in 1342. He became an important personage in English literature. His literary career has been divided into 3 periods. The third period marked his greatest era, was one in which the Canterbury Tales was written. The Canterbury Tales, from which A Tale of Chanticleer has been taken, is an unfinished poem of 17,000 lines. The poem tells the tale of a group of pilgrims traveling to the shrine of St. Thomas a Becket at Canterbury. On the way, they decide to pass the time by telling stories. Their stories help to create various pictures of English life in the 14th century. The 14th century is the 1300s. So, let's go ahead and read. So, like I said, A Tale of Chanticleer is a story that came from the Canterbury Tales. And the Canterbury Tales was a long poem it went unfinished. And it's basically about a bunch of pilgrims that were going to this place, and it was a long ways away, and on their way, they had to tell stories. And A Tale of Chanticleer was one of those stories that they told. So I want you to pause it and read these pages. Find out what character flaw that Chanticleer has and how Chanticleer, his flaw, helps him overcome his enemy. Okay? So go ahead and pause as you read. All right, did you finish this story? I love this story. Let's answer a few questions. Now, you try to answer before I put the answer up here. Okay, so who is Chanticleer? Say it out loud. He was a beautiful rooster. What makes Chanticleer so proud? Why is he so proud? He was beautiful and he had a great voice. How do the dream and Chanticleer's response to it foreshadow or hint at the events to come? The dream and Chanticleer's response to it, how does that kind of give a hint or foreshadow what was to come? Can you answer that? When the fox comes and Chanticleer's failures to heed the warning, all that foreshadowed, basically it kind of told what was going to happen. That's called foreshadowing. How does the sly fox use Chanticleer's pride to profit himself? When Chanticleer is flattered into singing with his eyes closed, the fox seizes him. So he used Chanticleer's pride. How does Chanticleer use the fox's pride to get free? He entices the fox to scare the people and the animals that are following him by snarling and growling, and the fox opens his mouth to do it, and Chanticleer escapes. So they both have a little bit of pride going on there, don't they? All right, let's look at our work text pages. We have 2 of them. I'm going to help you with both of them today. Well, sort of, but you won't have an assignment. So let's look at page 149. It's called a short summary, and that's basically what we're going to do. Just going to write a short summary of Tale of Chanticleer. Okay, so up in the very top, you see the 2 yellow boxes at the top, the main characters and the setting. All right, so who were the 2 main characters? Chanticleer and the fox. So you need to write those down. You'll probably want to pause it because I'm going to go faster. All right, now the setting. Remember, the setting is where and when it takes place. Okay, doesn't really give us a when, and that's okay. It just kind of gives us a where. So where does it start and where does it end? It starts in the garden. Where does it end? They're in the woods. So go ahead and pause it and write those 2 down underneath setting. All right. Then it gives us the problem. This is the problem in the story. The sly fox uses flattery to trick Chanticleer. The fox grabs Chanticleer by the throat and runs off with the rooster, planning to eat him. That's the problem. Now the solution is how the problem is fixed. So what was the solution? Chanticleer used flattery to trick the fox. That was the solution. So write that down on your page where it says solution. All right. So what do you think? What lesson do you think Chanticleer learned? Not to become proud from the flattery of others. When someone flatters you, don't become proud. Write that down there on the lesson for Chanticleer. Okay. All right. Now, look at page 150 in your work text. This says, the boy who cried wolf is at the top. Okay. Now, I'm going to read that to you, and then you're going to pause it and answer the 3 questions, and then turn it back on, and we'll see if you got those right. Okay. So let's read. Once there was a shepherd boy who cared for his father's sheep. Often the shepherd boy was lonely because he had no one to talk to, as he tended his sheep far away at the foot of the mountain. One day he wanted some excitement, and he began crying, "Wolf! Wolf!" The villagers came running to his aid. "Where's the wolf?" they shouted. "We've come to kill him." But the shepherd boy only smiled. "There's no wolf. I just wanted some excitement." Later, the shepherd boy was lonely again, so he began crying, "Wolf! Wolf!" Again, the villagers came running, but the shepherd boy just smiled. No wolf was there. Several weeks later, the boy looked up and spied a wolf looking greedily at his flock of sheep. "Wolf! Wolf!" cried the shepherd boy earnestly. "There really is a wolf this time, really, truly." But the villagers didn't heed his cry. "He just wants to see us again. What a foolish boy." Meanwhile, the wolf attacked the sheep and had a tasty lunch. When the shepherd boy told the villagers what happened, all they could say was, "A liar will not be believed even when he speaks the truth." All right, go ahead and pause it, and I want you to answer those 3 questions down at the bottom. They don't have to be complete sentences. And then turn it back on. All right, number 1. Why was it wrong for the boy to cry wolf the first 2 times? It was a lie. He wasn't telling the truth. Something like that's what you should put. Number 2, what were the consequences of the boy's actions? The villagers didn't believe him when it was true, and his sheep got eaten. What's the moral of the story? If you tell lies, people aren't going to believe you. It's kind of the moral, isn't it? Yeah. All All right, good deal. Well, that concludes our reading lessons for this week. And I think that is it. So I'll see you soon.